Hi, my name is Nick Van Nieuwenhof, and I'm the co-founder and CEO at New Way Out. At New Way Out, we are trying to change the perspective and view of mental health and addiction across the entire country. In order to do this, we've created an ambassador program focused on high school students and college students. And today, we're very lucky to have our very first forum at UC Riverside. So thank you for joining us.
Bringing more awareness to this issue and ways to combat it. So eventually this led me to join the team and be here with you all today. So with that being said, I'd like to introduce Nick Van Nieuwenhof, who's gonna go a lot more in depth as to what the New Way Out does and ways that they provide awareness to these two issues on campus.
Yeah, thank you, Jose. First and foremost, I just want to thank everyone for being here. Like Tiffany and Jose said, I know this is extremely difficult times. It's a really changing point in our history right now. And so to be here and to kind of talk to us a little bit about mental health is very grateful. This is one of the very first forums that we've done for New Way Out. And so, and do it here at Riverside, I think is just super special. And to have this at Riverside is just really special. So again, my name is Nick Van Nieuwenhof. I'm the co-founder and CEO at New Way Out. New Way Out started about a year ago, and our focus is on mental health and addiction. Our first campaign being on digital addiction and dependency, on technology dependency. We started this, like I said, about a year ago, and just a little bit about myself. I grew up in Dallas, Texas, my entire life, and I had four really, really close friends of mine. Two of them, I would actually, in some ways, consider them brothers. Two of them died from addiction, from drug addiction. And then I had two friends that committed suicide. So from the ages of 16 and 20, I basically buried four of my really, really close friends. And that's something that has kind of always stuck with me and has just always been on the back of my heart, and something that's always, when you're with someone's family and you have to go to their funeral, not once, not twice, but four times, it's something that's very powerful, and it's something that has been kind of a driving force in a lot of the things that I've always been doing. So I graduated from Arizona State. Some people know it as Harvard of the Southwest, but that's to each their own. And so I graduated from there, and I started working in public relations. I joined many different marketing campaigns. And so I built kind of a resume into marketing, and then I joined a nonprofit called the Campus Leadership Project, and where I work on different campuses, work with different students, and work with giving out scholarships all across the country. And so with that experience, I thought it was about time that I start giving back. And so I met two other really special people named Eric Varas and Sammy Sayego. They are also co-founders with me at New Way Out. And together, we decided we wanted to really take on this issue. For me personally was addiction, and for Sammy and Eric, the mental health, the aspect and what they're seeing especially on social media was something that was really near and dear to them. So together we created the New Way Out. And like I said, our focus right now is mental health and addiction, but with a focus more on the digital awareness and understanding of social media. What we're seeing right now is just a influx of post, and everything that we're seeing is all going digital. And I'm going to start this off right now and say, we're not going to beat technology. We're not starting a war against technology. We're not going to beat social media. These things are going to be with us, right? Technology is not going anywhere. It's only going to get bigger. Social media, more platforms are coming. I think the idea, or what I know the idea behind New Way Out is, how do we create healthy ways of dealing and having these things a part of our society, a part of our lives, but where it doesn't define us, it doesn't depress us out, doesn't gray us out, where it's a resource, a tool, but not a defining moment for us, right? So one thing I wanted to talk about, one thing in real big mission of why we believe this is such a big deal is, if you look at the numbers, and there's multiple studies, I have them on our website right now if you guys want to go check them out, but there's multiple studies showing in the last 5 years, suicide, depression, anxiety have skyrocketed. If you look at from the last 5 years, compare it to the last 20, the dramatic upshift is crazy. It's unreal. And there's a lot of things of correlations of what you can correlate that to. Many people like to say it could be diet. It could say be social economic, where you grew up. It could be a lot of deals. But one thing that we have noticed, and one thing that I think, we can look at a lot of studies, is that you can see that when we look at it personally, what do we see? Phones. Our phones in the last year have skyrocketed. The amount of use that people use their apps, the amount of use people are on their phone has doubled. And there's a very strong correlation with that. Technology, anxiety, depression, and there's multiple studies that back that up. And so what we would like to do at New Way Out is try to find ways of, like I said, where we're not going to be able to beat it, but find a ways to do it healthy. Find a healthy way of balancing social media, technology, and the things that we're doing in the most healthiest way, right? And so that we can find a way of bringing that down. One thing that we've seen about it, and the crazy is that most mental health, most addiction problems that we see happen between the ages of 14 and 24. So targeting high schools, targeting colleges is so key to this battle, right? Is if we can start giving resources and start helping students at a younger age, from high school even into college, and start focusing on this stuff early, we might be able to prevent it and give more resources and things that we can work out with people. Another correlating factor with mental health that's really something that is also really near and dear to New Way Out is that we see lots of violence all across the country all the time. And the numbers of violence, domestic violence in the last couple of years has skyrocketed. And we're not necessarily saying that is correlated with social media or technology, but it is doing with mental health, right? Mental health is where they say it's almost 90% of all most violent, between domestic to gun violence. There's usually a correlation between mental health and that form of violence, right?
Presentation, because I believe it's relevant right now as we have classes on Zoom and are on our phones trying to keep up with the news 24/7. So I think it's important to have more of a balance of technology in our lives in order to have a good mental health. So that being said, I want to introduce Jose Cortez.
Well, yeah, so kind of just how Tiffany said, my name's Jose. First and foremost, I would like to thank all of you guys for being here. I know that these past couple of weeks have been very stressful for everyone on their mental health and just all over social media as well. So I really appreciate all of you taking time out of your day to listen here today. So I'm a recent alumni from UC Riverside, class of 2019, and I was a former residential life staff member at UC Riverside for 3 years as a program coordinator. So I have some experience in programming and dealing with some of these issues. But following graduation, I found myself spending a lot more time on my phone and social media platforms, and eventually to the point where I felt like it was becoming an issue, right? Like I couldn't go 20 minutes without being like, oh, let me check my Twitter or let me check Instagram. So I sought out methods of limiting my phone use and just limiting how much I use it throughout the day. So fast forward to 7 months, I came across Nick, who's the founder of the New Way Out, and chatted with him about the New Way Out and their efforts on bringing more awareness to this issue and ways to combat it. So eventually this led me to join the team and be here with you all today.
And the second app I use a lot is phone calls. I love to do phone calls and really conversate about everything. Do you think that counts as phone usage per se, just because I'm not really looking at the screen but I'm talking?
Yeah.
I'm still using the phone, but I'm not looking at the screen.
That's a really good question. And you know what? I didn't think I would ever get that one, but I personally, I have not actually looked into it, but I personally think phone calls, you're connecting in the way that you're talking. You're actually dialating. You're not behind your keyboard and you're not behind on your little phone typing away. I personally think talking and spinning, there's a connection when you communicate with your voice with someone. And that's the biggest thing that we're focusing on at New Way Out is how do we reconnect, how do we disconnect from technology and how do we connect with people again, right? How do we the real connection with people, not between a screen, and I think voice to voice is absolutely, that kind of communication is a true connection for sure.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Cool. Any other questions? Anyone else?
Cool. Well, I think if there aren't any other questions, I think we can just end it here. If you guys have any questions later or any I guess, further thoughts, feel free to message Tiffany and she can get those questions to Nicholas and myself. But aside from that, thank you all for taking time out of your day today to really listen to this presentation and ask some really meaningful questions.
Thank you guys, really appreciate it. This is super special for me and New Way Out. So thank you guys. Hope to see you guys in person someday.